And good Sunday morning to you, my Teaser King family. What a fucking day we had yesterday. Holy shit. All three locks win. The Colorado game wins. The Michigan under wins. So, real briefly, the three locks were Georgia under, Iowa State under, and Notre Dame. And all three win fairly easy. No sweat at all. Colorado finally got going. I had them. Michigan under. Thought about locking them at 60. I mean, the number was 57 to win 35-7. And again, they don't cover, but we don't really care. That's why we look at games over and under, because we don't care who covers. Then we win the free pick, Washington State over near the end. And we hit the Arizona over as it goes into overtime. So we get lucky there. We're not going to win it. Goes to overtime at 44. We get the 51 at the overtime session. So everybody should be happy. The locks win. The free picks win. I felt bad last week. I don't like to give free picks and they lose. I mean, that's the idea is to make you money, not to cost you money. So back on track. We got today's free pick. Houston under with Arizona under. I do have one lock going on the site. It's a big one. And I played it with Georgia under. So that's how you play teasers. So the bet was the lock is Notre Dame, Iowa under. And it wins. I got Notre Dame and another teaser. I think with the Arizona over, so that wins. I got Colorado in a teaser, so that wins. I then played Georgia in a lock with today's lock, which we'll hope wins. And, so it was a very good day. The only really loser I had was the Mississippi Tulane game, which apparently the quarterback didn't play for Tulane, which I didn't see that. The line didn't move. He didn't play at all, so he was out before. Hey, Major James. Getting ready for today. So I lost that one because I don't know the quarterback's not playing, and I'm betting it, of course, based on the quarterback. And we lost the UTSA game. I have UTSA Texas State over after Texas State puts up 41 on Baylor. And all of a sudden, UTSA decides to play a low-scoring game and against Texas State, which was shocking. I don't know if UTSA is the same as they were last year. They seem to be struggling scoring. I don't know if they get a new offensive coordinator. I'll have to check that out. But so lesson learned, we get off of UTSA very quickly, and we can get on to others. Hey, Todd. Well, here's my score for that game. I got Washington winning 13-3. And I'm not sure that Arizona can get 3 points, depending on who their quarterback is, Clayton Tune or Joshua Dobbs, who sucks. I mean, I'm watching Hartman. I'm watching Van Dyke light it up. Rison's hurt. Caleb Williams lighting it up. Jefferson lighting it up. And you got Joshua Dobbs going, or maybe Clayton Tune from Houston, who's not even a good quarterback, against Washington. So I don't know if that one doesn't stay under, and we're under, 44.5. So that means both teams got to get in the 20s. More likely, this is about what I think, 13-3. And I honestly don't know. I mean, the Lions, KC, 21-20. There's no timing the first week. the defense is definitely rule. I only see one over game today. And that's it. Maybe Dallas and the Giants goes over, but I wouldn't bet anybody's money on that one. I certainly put it this way: I wouldn't bet my gold on it. So let's call them the gold picks, meaning I'd. And there's only a few plays I'd bet my gold on today, besides the free play, the lock, and then I like the JETS, just. So, beautiful day in college. I think I bet the Washington-Wisconsin game wrong, but I got away with it. Washington State's defense is looking good. Mordecai looks really good for Wisconsin. He's hitting guys all over the place, but they really can't run. And their defense isn't as strong. So a little different defensive mindset here, which is surprising. Luke Fickell had a good defense at Cincinnati. I think he fixes it, but Washington State, look out. I mean, now Ward sucks. I didn't know that. The quarterback was a basketball player. He never played football. Then he goes to Incarnate Ward, a Division II team, and he lights it up. And so he goes to Washington State because they need a quarterback. And he's never, so he's well behind the eight ball. I mean, he doesn't know what he's doing. And he really is playing it like a point guard, like Charlie Ward used to. And he basically goes back and he's looking, and then he probably is mostly going to run. So I think they're back to an under team, which is good. I mean, I need that. Still don't know about Oregon State. They played Division II. Now I had three surprises. We'll get to the pros in 1 second. It's only 11:20. We got kickoff at 1. So the question mark games I had was UTSA, Texas State 20-13. I got Oklahoma 28, SMU 11. Like, excuse me, what the fuck was that? I didn't bet the over. That's what I warn you about. Be careful with these 68, 69-point overs. Old D 38-21 over Lou Lafayette. It was shocking. And Florida International lights up North Texas 46-39. The shocking part was Florida International putting up 46. And Houston Rice beats them 43-41. Houston shuts down UTSA and gives up 43 to Rice. So that's where I'm thinking UTSA has the problem. Houston, I guess apparently, now this was overtime. Doesn't have it. And then UCF plays Boise to an 18-16 game. Like, what? And then at the bottom, Auburn Cal plays an 18-14 game or something like that. And I'm like, where the fuck was that? Did have a touchdown. And then USC does cover the over by themselves, as I was a little bit skeptical because I didn't think I'd get anything from Stanford, and I didn't get anything from Stanford. I didn't play. It was 45-0 at half, a typical USC game. So took Air Force only over I took was Georgia Southern. I think that won. Where did you get Georgia Southern from? Yeah, 49-35. Big number. UAB's got a pretty good offense too, but Georgia Southern, I don't know if they didn't play week 1 or they played a Division II team. So you're really not getting enough. My favorite play of the day was Texas over Alabama. Called that upset, called the under. And Bobby keeps saying, Herb Kirkstreet or Kirk Herbstreit, whatever his name is. I call him Herb Kirkstreet. Alabama, the championship. They don't have a quarterback. Their defense is weak, and Texas killed them. Now beware of Texas next week. I did a look into next week. Alabama's got South Florida. Good luck, South Florida. Texas is at home to Wyoming, and I wouldn't bet Texas with your money. They'll be laying 35. There's no way they're going to be up. Their toes aren't going to touch for 2 weeks. So good game for Texas. Looks like they were going to be in trouble, and then Milrose threw some interceptions as I thought he would. Not a very good quarterback, as I told you. He's a good running quarterback, but we know what happens with running quarterbacks in big games. They throw interceptions. Just ask Lamar. Ask all the Baltimore fans with Lamar. Sorry, you know me. I don't start eating till 11:30. So, all right. So what a day yesterday. Let's go to today's line. Atlanta 3.5 and 40.5, up from 39.5. The Sharps betting the over for some reason in this game. I'm going to do the line, and then I'm going to do the teaser trends. It did work in the Kansas City game. They were play against as a home favorite, 17 and play against as a home favorite were 9-0, and play against KC was 17-3. So it did work there. But you also won playing KC if you bet it Thursday when we were talking, and you got the 2.5 points. Baltimore 9.5, which keeps going 9.5, 10, 43.5 from 44. Cincinnati's down to 1.5. I like Cincinnati. 46.5 from 40. I don't get that. I thought, is Burrow hurt? No, Burrow's playing. Burrow's fine. You get Cincinnati in 4.5. Thank you. Jacksonville 3.5, down from 4.5 for some reason, and 45.5. Question is, will Indy score? Well, it's Jacksonville. They might, but against a normal. Minnesota's down to 4.5. I don't know what's going on there. And 45.5. We got New Orleans -3 and 42. We've got the Niners down to 2 and 41.5. We've got Washington -7, 37.5, down from 38.5. So they got my free pick, and they're betting it hard. Chicago 1.5, 40.5, down. That keeps dropping. Good luck. Yeah, until we see Jordan Love, I think he's terrible. I know Fields sucks, so I don't know where there's points, but the Bears kept going over. They have no defense. They are an over team, but it's weird because it's Fields running, which I thought we wanted a quarterback to throw the ball to the $1 million receivers. Denver 3.5, 43.5 from 44. San Diego is 3 and 50.5. Philadelphia 3.5, down from 4.5. So many changes. 44.5, down from 45. Seattle 4.5, 45.5. Dallas 3.5, 45.5. So everything's going down. And we got Buffalo 2.5, 45.5. And I definitely think the Jets win the game right out. No Von Miller. I don't get why. How do you miss the Jets? Aaron Rodgers, Lazard, the offensive coordinator, the running attack, and the strong defense. The Jets are at home. with the better team, and they're getting points. I mean, I honestly don't get it. I really, Jets should be a 3-point favorite here. So I'm missing that one. All right, let's look at teaser trends. Carolina, Atlanta. Atlanta is 14-2. Play against them as a home favorite, 15-1. Carolina is 20-2 as a road dog. So in a teaser trend, it's all Carolina. In the technical trend, as we talk, can we trust the tech? Well, we've got Ritter, it's a new quarterback. We've got Bryce Young, who wasn't that good at Alabama, and then they're good when they play these weak teams. This is the problem. It's like when I listen to the Tigers, and the guys will hit, and the pitcher's got a 15 ERA they're hitting. Then they play a big pitcher, and they get shut out. And the announcer can't correlate the difference between hitting a terrible minor league pitcher and hitting a good professional pitcher. And that's the problem with Alabama. Bryce Young against Georgia, against LSU last year, against Texas A&M, Texas, never showed up. Much like Trevor Lawrence never showed up against Ohio State, Alabama. I don't think he played Georgia, but he never showed up in those games. So, it's easy to show up against Wake Forest. It's not easy to show up in the other way. I'm not betting Carolina, not at all. And I'll go through my scores at the end. Baltimore and Houston. Houston's 14-2 as a road dog. Baltimore play against is 12-1. So it's definitely Baltimore's weak at home, and Houston's a good road dog. So Houston might be a good play here if they actually had a real quarterback. Again, this is the problem with technical analysis on gold and stocks and football. The variables change. Houston, this is with David Mills the last few years. Baltimore's with Lamar. And it says play against Baltimore as a home favorite. But now you got CJ Stroud, who couldn't win at Michigan. I don't think this is any easier to go to Baltimore. So that's my point. You've got to be very understanding of the different trends. Now, Detroit KC, it's a Mahomes trend. He's been there 5 years. Okay, we could probably go with it. And had the receivers not dropped 15 balls, they would have won and probably – but, okay, that's beside the point. So here, can we trust CJ Stroud? And this is what drives me to over-unders is I'm not touching Houston with 15 points. Never. So that then makes it, an underplay. 2 weak quarterbacks, strong defense in Baltimore. Houston, I don't know. Baltimore doesn't light it up. And even if they do, you got to get to 50. How are they going to do that? Week 1 is here, Bobby. Notre Dame, Colorado. Beautiful. Yeah, I love that Hartman. Seattle Pitt under Cincinnati for another teaser to win, TK. Why don't you go with the Houston under, or the Arizona under is the best play on the board, I think. My score in the Arizona game is Washington 13, Arizona 3. And that's being generous that Arizona's going to get 3 points. And that's generous. Washington's going to get 13. We got Toon or Dobbs going against Thurston Howell III. and maybe Brissett. Where are they going to score? That is the simplest, easiest play you could come up with. Arizona under. Let me check my guy, make sure he got the bet in. I get picks, and my guy shows me the picks. Just a second. All right. Okay, he added 3 games. So I got the Houston, Arizona under, the Jets. Well, he gets bad lines on his plays. And Arizona under. Okay. The only problem is he doesn't get the college totals early enough. And then he's got to pay 20% juice. Now, I'm not involved with the juice. So if I say bet $300 and he like his juice is 360, it's like 20% or 12 to 10. And I go, can't you find an 11 to 10 bookie or place? So that's the only problem, but that's him. I'm not in on the juice. I'm only in on the bet. So if it's 300 and we win, I get 20%. If we lose, we lose. This guy has cashed last year in 20 weeks plus the playoffs, all but 2 weeks. So 18 weeks I'm getting money from picking winners. And there's just 2 weeks where it's like one of those really strange weeks where we didn't get it. Okay, good. And we still have a couple open from yesterday. We got, I think there's the Georgia under with one of my locks today. Time to show a picture. What can I say? My girls like to see me. So good news, Jenna's all better, apparently. From her neck, which I'm happy about. All right, sorry about that. So we're doing the teaser trends. Hey, Eric. The general's right here, Bobby. The general is going to come out in 20 minutes. I told him to come out at 12 o'clock. So it's the general. Look how much I get. And I ate last night, right? But I eat about 7, 8 pieces. And then I wait. Now, it's funny is she raised the price. She was $11.99. She goes to $13.99 6 months ago. And then yesterday I see the bill's a little higher. And she says she raised it to like $15.20. And I go to her, well, it's about time you're starting to recognize inflation. And by the way, this should probably be $19.99, not $15.99. I would probably pay $19, and I probably wouldn't pay much more. Now, what I'll do is I get an egg roll with it. I'll start not getting it with the egg roll and cut the $2 off there. That's the General Chow, Eric. That's my favorite dish. I've been eating it for over 30 years at this Chinese restaurant. There's no MSG. There's no breading. It's wok. It's very healthy. And every time I go, I don't even think of anything else. And once in a while, I'll get sweet and sour chicken or almond boneless chicken. And at the end of the day, it all comes back to, If I get the General Chow. So what I'll do on a holiday, I might get General Chow and sweet and sour chicken, but I won't miss my General Chow. So yes, that's the General. He's the guest host today. So Todd, I would switch. I could see Pitt under and Cincinnati, and then go to Arizona under. I don't know how much I like Seattle. I mean, Stafford's back, Aaron Donald's back. It should just be a regular game. They're not a very good home favorite, but we'll get to that. All right, let me walk through these. We got time. So Houston, Baltimore, again, bet against Baltimore in a teaser is the play here, but not with CJ Stroud. And again, this is why talk technical analysis doesn't work, because this is Houston with maybe David Mills. They're a good road dog, but if they're starting Stroud, you have no technical analysis with Stroud. Nothing. So you can't say he's a good road dog. You can say Houston is with Mills, but you can't say. That's why the technical analysis is very hard to do right now. Like I said, you can do it with Mahomes, and then Joe Burrow we can start to do it with, and San Diego we can start to do with Herbert. Russell Wilson's only been there a year. So there's too much movement between coaches and quarterbacks, and too many new quarterbacks who come in. Look at Lamar. Okay, so here's Lamar Jackson. This is about 2 or 3 years. Play against Baltimore as a home favorite, 12-1. That's with Lamar. So you wonder why I don't like Lamar. Look what he's done. As a home favorite, he's 12-1 against. Right? So if they do win, it's close, or they lose. So what is the big thing about them? But if we look at Joe Burrow, let's look at Cincinnati now. With Joe Burrow, they're 16-3. Joe Burrow 16-3. Lamar's 12-1 against as a home favorite, where you should be more dominant. So this is my whole point. So that's the teaser trend, Cincinnati, Cleveland. Now these guys got it wrong. The first year Cincinnati played them, Burrow didn't play with a knee, and they were trying to say, well, look, he can't play. I don't know what happened last year, but let's look at it. I don't think Cleveland beat them with Burrow, unless it was like, you know how they win at the last week when the guy is out. All right, let's see. Is it the matchup or the details? Let's see the history. All right, history. I don't know what they're talking about. Cincinnati won 23-10. Cleveland won 32-13. Cleveland won 21-16, but it was the week when they didn't try because they sat out because it was 1-9. Cincinnati, Cleveland won 41-16 and 21. And then Cleveland, well, they go back to 18, but I don't think Joe Burrow came in 20. So he didn't play. He hurt his knee. So those 2 games don't count. So there's only been 4 games with Burrow. Cleveland wins 41-16. I don't think Burrow played in that one. They won 21-16. Maybe he played. And then Cleveland wins 32-13. And then Cincy wins 23-10. So I'm not like, oh, my God, they can't beat Cleveland. And plus, you're getting 4.5 in the game. So in this game, I like you got to go with Joe Burrow getting 4.5 points. I mean, okay, if they lose, then it'd be a close game, especially week 1. The timing's off. We'll see. But Deshaun Watson hasn't played in 2 years, played a little bit last year and sucked. So what are you getting there? Again, you can't really look at the technical analysis in almost any of these games because it just isn't there. So here it's just a matter of betting on Joe Burrow. Jacksonville, Indy, Jacksonville only 3.5. Lawrence against Richardson. Play against Indy is 14-2, which would lead you to Jacksonville, but I ain't playing Jacksonville as a road favorite. Never in life am I betting on Trevor Lawrence to win a game on the road. It ain't going to happen. Over under 45.5 with Richardson, probably another under. And then I'm going to go through the scores and I'm done. Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Minnesota 4.5, 45.5. Play against Minnesota as a home favorite, 11-2. Play against Minnesota, 15-3, which means they don't cover shit. However, play against Tampa Bay, 16-2. Then I got Minnesota as a home favorite as one of these strange ones. They're 11-2 as a home favorite and 11-2 bet against as a home favorite, which means they win every game at home by 3 points. Play against Tampa, though, is 16-2 the last 18, and play against Mini 15-3. So we got two terrible teams that are bet against playing each other. You got Cousins, who we know sucks, against Mayfield, who I always thought was a little bit better, but apparently, I don't know. I thought he was good at Cleveland. Then he moved to the Rams. He had that one game, and then he sucked. Now he's at Tampa Bay. I'd have rather seen Kyle Trask play. You're not going to gain anything with Mayfield. But the real key in the game is Todd Bowles is the worst coach in the league, and he coaches Tampa. So I think it's a close one. I think Minnesota wins at home. But put it this way, I'm not betting my gold on the game. So we're looking for games I'm going to bet my gold on, and that ain't one of them. Tennessee, New Orleans at home. They have Olave. They don't have Kamara. They got the guy from the Lions, whatever his name is, the guy from the Lions. Play against New Orleans is 14-3 in a teaser. Now you got Derek Carr going against Tannehill. I love Vrabel. I don't know who this Allen is. Again, these coaches are so bad. And that's important because you're betting on the coach. So you got to bet on Vrabel here. Again, I think this is 40-41. I think this is another under. I think Orleans will have a good defense. Derek Carr, okay, couple picks. Tannehill, couple picks. I think a lot of these games are going to be close and low scoring because there's no timing. Look at Mahomes with all the drop passes. Now, part of that is you can't do it in practice because now the receivers are worried about getting hit. Well, they're not worried about getting hit in practice. And in the preseason, that's why you need to play the players at least 2 or 3 quarters in the preseason to get them thinking about the hit and the quarterback to worry about getting hit instead of worrying about we're worried he's going to get hurt. Yeah, but he can't perform in the game because he needs to – oh, my God, they're going to hit me and get the hit and then go, oh, okay, I'm all right. You need to get the hit. You need to be hit. You need to be pressured and how you react on it. That's how you do. And this is what I roll my eyes at when they don't do this in the preseason. The Lions were lucky. They never should have won. They got a pick 6, which was a joke. Casey dropped 10 balls, and they won it at the end on a bad holding call that was never a holding call. And Casey should have kicked the field goal. They got the pass, kicks the field goal, wins the game. That's what should have happened. And even then, I don't want to be playing KC this week, next week coming up. So Tampa Bay, Tennessee, New Orleans, I think with Tannehill against Carr, I still think it's an under game. New Orleans is really good at home, but I like Vrabel. I think this would be a close, low-scoring game. San Francisco, Pitt. Frisco's down to 2 and 41.5. Purdy against Pickett. This will be a very low-scoring game, very strong defense. Pitt is 7-0 is a home dog. That's the only trend I could come up with. Pitt normally plays very good at home. I think this will be a close game. I don't want to bet gold against Pitt, taking Pickett, so I think this will be a close game, but I think this will be low scoring. So 2 strong defenses, so you play the strong defense. Arizona, Washington, as I said, this is the other free play with Houston. In a teaser, play against the home favorite 7-0. So the teaser trend's Arizona, but that's with a Washington with a normal quarterback. Tune or Dobbs against Thurston Howell III and Brissett. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, Notre Dame's got a better quarterback than all four with Hartman. And Van Dyke had a huge day yesterday against Bobby's Texas A&M team. He 4 touchdowns, 400 yards. That's my Van Dyke. They got rid of Josh Gaddish, the worst offensive coordinator in the world. Michigan fires him. What would make Miami hire the guy? This is the problem when you hire a guy because of experience, but he sucks. Look at that. He fucked Michigan's offense up. I don't want the guy. If the guy gets another offensive coordinator job, you got to be kidding me. We'll be betting heavily against him. So this should be a close game. The first 1 to 10 will win, and if they get to 10, this is an under. This is I would bet by gold on. And this is not my lock, but this is a very strong under play here. Unbelievable. I mean, because the first rule of unders is you got to, it's the quarterback, right? So you're looking at the quarterback. Mahomes, yeah, probably not going to play him under. Joe Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Russell Wilson, probably don't want to play those guys under. Tune and Thurston Howell III, and they're gonna, they're gonna throw way more interceptions than completions. You just hope it's not pick sixes. I mean, that's the only way they're going to score here is the quarterback strip sacked or a pick six, a couple of field goals, and that's it. So this game is so under, it's scary. Green Bay and the Bears. This is down to 1. Fields against Love. LaFleur against against Borflus. Oh, I graded him in E. Who is this Borflus? Never heard of him. Play against the Bears, 15-2. Packers are 10-1 as a road dog. The Bears are 6-1 as a home favorite. So this should be a Packer trend, but Aaron Rodgers ain't there. So now you got Love. Again, you can't look at the trend. This is the problem with the trends you can't look at. So that's why most of these you throw out. We got so many new quarterbacks or coaches. I mean, imagine running a company and you're getting new CEOs and CFOs in your car company, and you're changing models every year. Well, I don't like this one. We're gonna go with that one. I don't like this one. We're gonna go with that. And the customer's like, well, I don't know what the fuck. Who makes this? And you just got to be kidding. So we'll find out more later. Now, the Bears have a terrible defense, and it's all Fields running, so you can't throw. We don't Love, I don't even think can throw either, but he can't run. Their backup is Sean Clifford, rookie from Penn State, who was okay last year, nothing great. Yeah, the SEC has been going to shit in these first 2 weeks. Not my Georgia team. That was lock number 2 yesterday, Bobby. It was Georgia under, and lock number 3 was Iowa under, and lock number 1 was Notre Dame. And they were very, very strong plays, and they all no sweat. I saw Iowa 20-0 fourth quarter, and I got to 44. Michigan under 63, they win 35-7. Georgia under 60, and they win 45-3. It was beautiful. I told you Alabama was going to lose, and I told you it'd be lower score. Well, I thought it'd be lower scoring, but it still stayed under because it was I had 59 under 59, and it was 58, so I just snuck it in. But I was glad to see Texas hit some long passes on them. Again, I don't think Nick Saban knows how to coach now. He knew how to coach with the Steeler defense, more running, and you couldn't run on him, and they'd blitz you. Now he doesn't know what to do because it's a passing game, and his defense is not for passing. I don't think Alabama will win another title with Nick Saban because he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. The Steelers system won't work. So he needs a new defensive system. But Georgia figured it out, just put pressure on the quarterback. So he gets all these fast guys. They go back to pass, and the linebackers there before him. That's how you play defense now, is Georgia style. Let's see. So we've got Oakland and Denver. We got Garoppolo against Russell Wilson. I love Sean Payton. There's no trend on the game from that standpoint, except for Denver and Mile High. Miami, San Diego. Play San Diego 15-2. Play against San Diego 15-2. They're like Minnesota. They play close games. Look at the Jacksonville game, right, in the playoffs. They're up 27-0, and they can't hold them. They play not to lose, and, of course, that makes you lose. So this is the type of team San Diego's, but if they're down 5 points at the end, they can drive and win. But if they're up 5 points, they just, run it, they run the clock and punt, and then, it's helter-skelter. So this should be a close game, San Diego, Miami. Philly and New England, 4-44. Philly is a strong road favorite, 11-1, 17-3 overall. Play against New England as a home dog, 7-1. So this is a big trend on Philadelphia here. Basically, I'm going to start calling them Georgia because they got 6 Georgia defensive players. I don't know if they're all in the starting lineup. They should be. But even if they're not, you still got 6 Georgia defensive players. If I was Philadelphia, I'd hire them from who went to Oregon and let him be my defensive coordinator and run the Georgia defense, and then win every game 35-7. New England's an under. Hurts against Jones. Don't love Hurts. Jones sucks. Jones is going to get sacked 5 times at least today. They have no receivers, no backs. The New England's pathetic. Yeah, Belichick's the best coach, my ass. You know how I grade Belichick? I give him a C. Because look what's happening. Without Brady, he doesn't even make the playoffs. He's a great coach. He'd make the playoffs, right? No, can't make the playoffs without Brady, who won all those games for him. So I just don't see it. And he's another one that can't understand the offenses now. So I think Philly, rips them pretty good here. Seattle and LA. This game's down to 4.5. We got Stafford against Geno Smith. Play against the Rams are 8-1. Is this as a road dog? I don't know. Nah, I guess they're 8-1. Yeah, probably as a road dog, and then 15-2 overall. So you can play against the Rams here. So yeah, the Seattle play is probably pretty good, Todd. Whoever's got, you got Seattle. So yeah, I mean, Seattle should win. Do they still have Metcalf on the team? I know they got Lockett, and I know they got the new guy from Ohio State who is playing. But I thought Metcalf, I didn't know he was gone. So if he's there, they got 3 stud receivers and all the running backs. So, they're going to dominate the Rams. Stafford, Kupp's out. Aaron Donald, we'll see. I don't know how easy it'll be for Seattle. They might run away from them, but it might be close. Hard to say. Dallas and the Giants. Dallas -3.5, 45.5. We got Prescott against Jones. No trend in this one. Dallas with Prescott. You got 3 interceptions. I don't know. And I like Micah Parsons. If they would play to him, they would win. It's a tough one. The Giants will be tough at home, although they're not a great home dog, and I don't like Jones at all. And I think Parsons can outrun Jones, so he's going to go to run, and Parsons will be there. But no trend. And then Buffalo and the Jets, Jets. Why are the Jets home dogs? Mm-mm. This is a bad line. Jets should be a 3-point favorite in this. I don't get it. Von Miller is out. Josh Allen can't handle a blitz. The Jets have the Niner defense and the Green Bay offense. What does Buffalo have? Josh Allen, who last time I checked was getting his ass handed to him by Cincinnati in a meaningful game. He didn't show up. All you need to do is blitz Josh Allen, and believe me, San Francisco here will do that. I don't see how they're going to blow them out. I like the Jets as a home dog. So let's go through my scores. I had KC 27-20. They lost 21-20. So it's pretty close. I got Atlanta 24-3 over Carolina. I got Baltimore 20-0. Obviously, I'm going under with the game. I got Cincinnati 27-24. Joe Burrow, if it's close, they're going to win. I don't see them losing. Chubb can run. And you've got Watson, who people think is good, but he didn't shit last year and was out 2 years. You can't just turn it on. So this will be interesting. But I still think I got to bet on Joe Burrow. You're only laying 1.5. You get 4.5. So got to play him. Jacksonville 27-10 over Indy, and I'm not sure how Indy. If it was any good team, I would say they're going to get shut out. But Jacksonville, they can score on Indy. They don't have Taylor. They got a lot of injuries. So I like 27-10. Bobby. Yeah, the SEC. Yeah. Gregor John. Hey, Gregor John. How are you today? So we've got, Minnesota 24-17 over Tampa. I think it's a close game. I can't trust Minnie. They play every game close. Will they win? I don't know. Like I said, I'm not betting my gold on this game. I can't trust Kirk Cousins, but I do love Jefferson. It's a shame he's on with Kirk Cousins. If he had a real quarterback, if he went to Denver with Russell Wilson, he'd really light it up. But at this point, see, that's where New England falters. They could have had Jefferson. They don't draft them. They don't know how to draft receivers. And this is a game you need wide receivers. So Belichick just doesn't understand it. He's still playing in the 80s with Lawrence Taylor and Parcells. He doesn't know. That's the problem with Belichick. New Orleans 24, Tennessee 10. I think with the Lion guy and Olave, pretty good defense, and Tannehill, I think New Orleans plays really good in the dome. But, we'll see. That might be a little high. It might be 20-13 or something. Frisco 21, Pitt 20. Probably in the teens, probably a little bit lower than that. Pitt's a strong home dog, so I don't really that comfortable going against them as a home dog. Washington 13-3, the other free pick. This one I love under. They're not going to score with these quarterbacks. My God. Tune from Houston, and we know Dobbs sucks. He's the one that cost Tennessee the playoff game when he didn't see the blitz coming. Or Washington, Thurston Howell III or Brissett, and Brissett's much better. Howell, guy sucked at North Carolina. I don't know what they see in him to make him the starter. I'd rather get Hartman from Notre Dame or Caleb Williams right now. What the fuck are they doing? So I think 13-3 Washington. Love the under there. That's our free pick with Houston under. Houston, good luck with C.J. Stroud in this game. They don't even have a C.J. Stroud. I mean, Arizona, Washington don't even have those good of quarterbacks. And he's stuck, Stroud. Green Bay 24, Chicago 21. I think Chicago's defense is so bad that Love can figure out a way, or they bring in Sean Clifford to score on the Bears. But when you have no defense, I just don't see them stopping them. And then, so Fields is going to run for a few plays. I'm not so enamored with the with the guy from Carolina. He's okay. He's good, but you don't have a quarterback to get him the ball. What's the point? So I still think it's a 45-point game. I think it goes over just because Chicago's an over team. They score with Fields, and they can't stop the win. Denver, Oakland, biggest win here, I think. I got Denver 27-7. Love Peyton. Great coach. Russell Wilson will be much better this year. Throws for a few touchdowns, and their defense just swallows up Garoppolo because Josh McDaniels is such a horrible coach that he won't figure it out. San Diego, Miami. This should be the high-scoring game of the day. I got San Diego 33, Miami 31. Herbert will light up Miami, who has no defense. Tua, we'll see how long he plays till he gets a concussion. So, I don't know. Over-under is what, 5 weeks? Something like that, maybe 6 weeks. That's about it. So that's where I'm at with that. Definitely a high-scoring game, but as I've said, you play against San Diego 17-3, and you play them 15-2. So they play close games. So I'm not betting San Diego. And this is probably the biggest lesson that I've learned over the last few years. Don't fuck with a game that you can't pick, but if you can pick it over or under, you go there, and then everything's been much more successful. Well, look at the Iowa State game. Instead of trying to pick the fucking game, which I would have won because it was a 20-13 Iowa and they were laying 3.5. I just went under. And then you get comfortable and you lock it, and it's 20-0 in the fourth quarter, and you're under 44. Yeah, okay. So it ends 20. It ends 20-13. It's a 33-point game. Beautiful. But why fuck around trying to pick the winner when you can fuck on playing an under with two great defenses and two teams that don't score a lot? All right. Philly and New England. This one also, Philly 27, New England 7. I'm not sure if New England scores. Philly with Hurts. I'm trusting Belichick's defense should keep this score down. It's the question of how many interceptions Jones throws. He'll be under duress from my Georgia guys the whole game. So, Philly should start off good. The Rams in Seattle. I like Seattle 27-21. I don't love it. They could easily lose. Stafford and Aaron Donald. Cup's out. It's a hard one, but I like the receivers and running backs on Seattle. Geno Smith's okay, but they got Charbonnet, and they got the guy from Georgia, and they have Walker from MSU from last year. 3 good receivers if Metcalf's still on the team, but the guy from Ohio State's playing today. It's funny how he's playing injured, but he didn't play against Michigan or the championship game injured. I don't know how much I like the guy because I don't think he's got any passion for football, so I think he's going to dog it, and I would never have drafted the guy. And I don't know where they're coming up with all this talent. I didn't see him do anything. It was always Olave, and then I guess he had a big Rose Bowl, and I was in Amsterdam for that, or Ukraine. But they're all probably double teaming Olave, and he has one big game, and now he's a superstar. Wow. So be careful here, but I think Seattle wins with all their offensive power. Dallas and the Giants, I have no idea. I took Dallas 21-20. I figured 3 interceptions by Prescott, 2 by Jones. Barkley, maybe a touchdown. I just betting basically Micah Parsons to win the game for him, but I don't. Dallas is in nowhere dominant. The Giants, why are they going with Jones is beyond me. I'd rather see Danny DeVito out there. Jones doesn't know how to pass. He's another one of these runners. And then the last game, I got the Jets, 27-17 over Buffalo. And I'm not sure Buffalo can get 17 on them. Aaron Rodgers will pick them apart. No Von Miller. They got running. They got receiving. They got a defense. They got a good coach. What does Buffalo got? And don't forget, Josh Allen ain't that good. So without a defense, the Jets are going to possess the ball a lot. You know how Rodgers, he waits till the last second on the clock to hike it. So I'm not even sure Buffalo gets that, but this Wrong team is favorite here. Jets should be a 3-point favorite. Not sure why. I mean, nobody's understanding. You now have Aaron Rodgers, and you have this great defense that added a great linebacker from Iowa State in the draft. The running back's back. You got all these Green Bay receivers. So Rodgers, they're going to be on time and in sync. So you got a good offense. You got a good defense. The coach, okay. What does Buffalo have? Josh Allen is not that good. Hate to break it to you. I like Denver. Sam Hill, 6-point teaser, Cleveland, Pitt. Okay. Do you have a question? Is that just your teaser, or I don't like it, but that's okay. If you want my picks, just go to www.teaserking.com. Here are Houston under and Arizona under. I know you're new, Sam. I've never seen you before, but are you just saying this is what I'm betting? Okay, good luck. I'm not sure why you're putting your bet down. Let's ask the general. Why do you think Sam's giving me his bet? Let's see what the general has to say. This is my guest, General Chow. Oops. General, why is Sam telling us his pick? I have no fucking idea. There you have it from the general. So, Sam, not sure what do you want us to do with that information? Are you one of these guys that if the number goes over 7, you bet it, and if it goes under 3, you bet it? I mean, is that what you are? I don't know. You got to come with the analysis. Why would you take Cleveland against Cincinnati? Why would you take Pitt against the Niners? You're going the wrong way in both games. Who you like? So I gave you Denver, Greg and John. Again, don't forget the free pick. Houston under, Arizona under. Don't miss the obvious. It's like I tell you to buy gold, and then you want to buy real estate. And I'm like, why aren't you buying gold? Why are you missing the most obvious analysis I give you? And why, you know the way I differentiate, I buy different golds from different countries. And I diversify with silver. Anyway, so that's what you have. So that's it. That's the free pick. I have one lot going. So www.teaserking.com. You can put the free picks with the locks. You could have a nice 4-team teaser. Maybe add the Jets. So I would play like a teaser where I have the Jets in it. And then I get the Jets in 8.5. And then, so let's say I have Arizona with the Jets and Arizona under wins. Then you can trap the game by betting Buffalo minus 2.5, and you got the Jets in 8.5. You can't lose. And then you could trap the game. But then I would do that in like a 4 or 5 team teaser. Where there's a lot on the line, you didn't bet them out. You're getting good odds. Anyway, that's how I see it. Let's review the line. Let's see if there's any changes. It's 12:15. We've got Atlanta 3.5, 40.5. That hasn't moved. Baltimore 9.5, 43.5. That hasn't moved. Cincy 1.5, 46.5. That hasn't moved. Jacksonville 3.5, 45.5. Hasn't moved. Mini 4.5, 44.5. Hasn't moved. I think it went down a little bit. I think it was 45. Maybe I didn't write it. New Orleans 3, 41.5. Hasn't moved. The Niners 2, 41.5. Hasn't moved. Washington 6.5, 38.5. Actually goes from 37.5. Some more on there. The Bears 1.5, 40.5. Hasn't moved. Denver 3.5, 43.5. Hasn't moved. San Diego 3, 50.5. Hasn't. That's where it was. Philly 3.5, 44.5. Hasn't moved. Seattle 4.5, 45.5. Hasn't moved. Dallas 3.5, 45.5. Hasn't moved. And Buffalo still 2.5, 45.5. So the lines haven't moved. So good luck today, boys. Always keep in mind the over-unders, especially on week one. Probably a lot of unders, probably because, okay, so you got Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud and Richardson, who aren't even NFL quarterbacks, have no business being in the league and have no business starting. Okay. Joe Montana was like 1-13 his first year. You can't just come in. Now, these guys weren't even good in college. C.J. Stroud sucked. Oh, did Michigan win by 50 in that game? All that he did was he ran against the man coverage against Georgia. That's it. He didn't. Michigan played his zone. He didn't run at all. I watched the game. He didn't run the ball. So what are these guys starting for? They are not NFL ready. What the fuck is going on? This would never have happened before. So, okay, let's move into modern times. There's no reason Richardson's not an NFL quarterback. He wasn't a good college quarterback. Stroud was all system and Bryce Young. The best ones were Stenson Benson and Hooker, who's injured, and Thompson Robinson should be starting for Cleveland. Will Grier should be starting for Dallas. It's just amazing how stupid these guys are. They don't know good coaches. They certainly don't know good GMs. If I was Washington, I would trade for Will Grier right now. Sorry, I got a hard avocado. So anyway, this is why we stick to Hartman and Van Dyke in college, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix. I don't get this road Bo Nix, home Bo Nix. He looked pretty fucking good yesterday. He's not the fault they give up 40 points. How'd you like to win the over in that Oregon game? The spread 68 or 69. You're laying, let's say, 62. At the end, it's 31-30. You only got 61, and there's only a minute left. And this reminded me of the Detroit, I think it was against Portland playoff game, when there was only – Detroit was up like one with 5 seconds left, and they steal the ball, and the idiot Gerald Henderson, you'd have thought would have learned more from Boston, dribbles the length of the court and makes the layup, and there's 2 seconds left, and now they're only up 3, and instead of just dribbling the timeout, puts it in, and then the other team, I guess Portland, let's say, took a three-pointer and almost made it to tie the game up. And that was the same thought going through my mind yesterday in the Oregon game. The guy throws a pick six for Texas Tech, hits the receiver in the hand, goes up, and the guy scores, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Just get down, and then they can take a knee, and the game's over. Oh, what a bunch of morons. It's like when they intercept on fourth down. What the fuck are you doing? Don't intercept the ball 30 yards downfield on fourth down, just drop the ball and you get 30 yards of field position. Anyway, so he scores, and now Texas Tech drives back down the field, and there's like 8 seconds left, and they throw it into the end zone. But why go through all that? So you got lucked out with the over in that game with the then it goes to 68. Over under was 68-69, teased it down to 61-62. That's what I warned you, those high. Look, what the hell happened with Oklahoma against SMU? 28-11. Really, was that Oklahoma and SMU, or was it two other teams? I kept looking. Is Gabriel playing? Did both quarterbacks get hurt? Like, what? I got to watch that highlight film. Anyway, so in the pros, basically you've got everything. 2 free picks. Again, Arizona under, Houston under. 2 locks going. Got to go to the site for that one. Big lock. 3 locks all win yesterday. Iowa under, Georgia under, and Notre Dame. Colorado hits. Michigan under hits. The free pick hits. Washington State, Wisconsin over, and Arizona over. I only had really in the Tulane game, the quarterback didn't play, which I didn't know about, and it wasn't published. I went through the injuries and never said he wasn't playing. So that reminds me of the Utah, where Cam Rising is listed as probable, and then the first snap he's not out there. And then I had UTSA. I was surprised by they didn't play at all. There's something wrong with them. I'm staying away from them for a while. And that was it. It was a beautiful day. A lot of winners. I felt good because I wanted to make sure I hit the free picks. Free picks are important for me to hit because you're betting them. You should be betting them. And so that's the idea, making you money. But it was good hitting that and the 3 locks for my lock players. So it was a great day. Any questions, comments? Go right ahead. Before I wrap up pros. So again, I think that the biggest misspread this week's the Jets. They should be favored and they're dogs, and that's about it. So we'll see how week 1 goes. Again, a lot of the offenses will be way behind the defenses. The timing, like the Kansas City receivers, will be off. It didn't help that Kelsey got hurt and didn't play because he's very reliable. He'd have won the game for him at the end. He'd have got down, caught the balls. They'd have kicked a field goal and won. That's really the only thing, but they didn't really miss them. They can't help it if 10 guys drop balls, but we're going to see that in a lot of games. You know, I don't see how Houston's going to score. I don't know that Indy can score. I don't know that Carolina can score. And I don't know that there'll be a score in the Arizona-Washington game. I guess there'll have to be one to end it, but no, it could end 0-0. That's a possibility. So the only real good game of the day is I think San Diego, Miami should be up there, and Seattle and the Rams. I'm not sure Dallas and the Giants. There's a lot of interceptions in that. Cincinnati, Cleveland could be a good game, but I'm taking Joe Burrow, my boy. So we will see. We'll recap this all tomorrow. Now let's look at college football for next week. So interesting games. Bobby, your Army put up 60 points yesterday. You see that one? They lit it up. They had a new quarterback in. He threw for like 150 yards. So I think now the new offensive coordinator's got him rolling a little bit. But that should be good. Let's see. Notre Dame ought to kill Central, but that spread's got to be 50 points, the way they're rolling. Alabama's got South Florida, so teams off of a loss, Alabama. They're going to pound South Florida. They're going to be really mad at them. South Florida is really not that good. Let's see. Northwestern and Duke. Duke will kill them. Kansas gets Nevada. That's a big win. Colorado. Prime gets Colorado State at home. That's going to be a big one because they don't have a defense. So I was looking at Colorado's schedule. It's at Oregon and USC after this week. Then we're going to really see Colorado because Oregon's going to kill them at home. And USC, they might put 100 up on them because they don't have defense, Colorado. Houston TCU. I thought it would be an interesting game. Now I'm not sure. I don't know how good Houston is. Rice just beat them, put up 40 points. Texas gets Wyoming. Be very, very careful here. So psychology, Texas goes in, gets revenge against Alabama, beats them. Their feet haven't hit the floor yet, and probably won't hit the floor till Tuesday. How do they handle it? Now, I warned you about Florida State, and they won by 50 points. So it didn't, but they had a slow start, and then they came on in the second half. And I guess that's what'll happen with Texas. It's just hard to get after an emotional win like Florida State, LSU, or Texas, Alabama is super thing. But like I say, Alabama is not that good this year. Everybody thinks that the name Alabama is always the best team, and they're not a playoff team. I hate to break it to you. I think Utah. I think my top four are Notre Dame, Georgia, Utah, and Florida State. And now, Michigan. I don't know. It's hard to get excited about a team that beats high school teams, and then you say, "Well, look how good they are. How good are they? Who did they beat?" They're not. They don't. They got Penn State and Ohio State. Then we'll take a look at Michigan. Right now, you can't say anything about them. They got a good defense and they run the ball. So that's all you can say about them. What other big games? Any other big team? Texas A&M loses to my Miami. Van Dyke, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns. Huge day. Looks like Van Dyke again. I'm very happy about that. A&M was throwing the ball. Van Dyke, is a much better quarterback. That'll be the only thing holding A&M back is their quarterback's okay, but he's not Van Dyke or Rising or those guys. So look for A&M to revenge off the loss against Lou Monroe, Bobby's favorite team. I look for this one to be very explosive. Washington goes to Michigan State. They're going to kill them. Michigan State's got no defense, and this will be a very good, probably a good cheap spread. We can jump on Washington here. Let's see. Tennessee plays Florida, so this will be a good. Florida's got a lot of injuries, I see, but I don't know if they're key players or not. Florida, that Florida should be a good game. Probably take the dog. Northern Illinois, Nebraska. Nebraska can't beat anybody. Lou Lafayette's got UAB. That'll be a good game. BYU and Arkansas. Arkansas should light them up. Pitt and West Virginia. Pitt lost to Cincinnati. But they're in different conferences now. Cincinnati is now in the Big 12, and Pitt's still in the ACC. Syracuse, Purdue. This should be a very high-scoring game. Georgia Tech and Ole Miss. This should be a very high-scoring game. Bowling Green against Michigan. Another, let's go under. Let's hope it's in the 60s again, and we'll go under with it. Texas, be careful of. TCU and Houston. We'll keep an eye on this one. Hawaii, Oregon. And New Mexico State, New Mexico. Now, New Mexico State did not cover yesterday against, I think they did with the early line. It was like 10.5, so they get 16.5. Then it went down to 9, which is 15. They lose by 16. They do score a lot. Again, no defense. I don't think it went over. So maybe there'll be the dog. If they're the dog, I'll take New Mexico State here against New Mexico. Then we got primetime, Colorado State, Kansas, Nevada, Fresno State, Arizona State. Arizona State looks terrible. Their quarterback's hurt, who isn't any good anyway. So let's see, it's a full lineup. Florida State goes to BC. They'll kill them. Old D put up a lot of points yesterday, so now I'm getting confused. I'm getting, this team can score a lot. Like the Auburn Cal game, they score a lot, and it was 18-14. Then you get teams that don't score, like Georgia Southern, and all of a sudden they light it up. So you're like, okay, this is where you stick to the meat of everything. Hi, the Real D. So you got the free picks, the Real D. So when you come on, free picks being Houston under and Arizona under. 2 locks going today. Another couple of games. Not a lot. I got about 7 games. That's about it. When you have to eat the avocado the hard way. All right, so I'll stay on to 1 when the games start. Then I'm off to the pool. I don't really want to watch the Bears and the Packers. I love how we're since Detroit, we got to watch the Vikings or the Bears and the Packers. It's like, seriously, I can't watch the Niners in Pittsburgh and the Philly game and some of these other good games. So what I do is I start lining up. I get the stats in. I'll bring the stats in during these games, the college stats. It's all linked, so I just got to bring in the new stats. It'll go to each team. Here's the quarterback. Here's the points average for the first 2 weeks. Mentally, I know if they played a high school team that they're not that good. Kind of ignore some of the stats. Like Mississippi, 73-7. Well, what was it yesterday? Ole Miss played Tulane, and it was 37-20. So they didn't put up 70 points on it. And the last play of the game they scored, I think it was a pick 6 or something. So Bryn doesn't play their quarterback, and it's really 30-20, which I would have won had I played Tulane. I didn't play Tulane as the dog. I thought about it. So I could have got 13. And then I would have gotten screwed on a pick 6 at the end. I don't know why these guys do it. The game, just take a knee, the game's over. No, they want to get it. No, there it didn't matter because they're up 17. But in that other game, it certainly mattered in the Oregon game. Anyway, USC did. So you're looking for differentiations in what we thought. That's why I did the question mark. What I thought was going to happen, like in the Oklahoma SMU game, to what really happened. And I looked at the box score, and it was 2 or 3 fumbles, 2 or 3 missed field goals, 2 or 3 drives that they went for it on 4th. But those weren't really critical. The 4th downs were like at the 35 or 40-yard line. So I don't mind that. The missed field goals, why are they kicking field goals? So SMU, again, if you can't run, and I don't think either of these teams can run, they just play 2 deep zones on you. And you get to the 15-yard line, you can't run, you can't score. So that's what you got to worry about. I still like Oklahoma, Texas in the revenge game, as long as everybody's healthy. In that game, Gabriel didn't play, which is why Texas beat them 49-0. As long as they're healthy, I look for a war this time. Now, Texas beat Alabama, but it's not a real Alabama team. So where you think it's, oh my God, it's not really Alabama. I said they're going to lose to A&M. They got to play LSU. I don't know. They can beat Ole Miss and Old Mississippi State. I mean, they got 4 potential losses, Alabama, this year. The downfall of all these teams are you don't have a good quarterback. Michigan went through it. Notre Dame went through it. USC went through it. Before the Oklahoma guy took the job, USC was nothing. They're a 500 team, and then he comes in, and Williams comes in, and now they have a good offense, and now they're winning, but they can't beat Utah because Utah's defense is too strong. That's the key is these offensive teams look good. It's the defensive team that wins. That's why I love Notre Dame, and I love Utah, and I love Georgia and Florida State. And that's the key. They got a good quarterback and a great defense. Georgia just sat there. They put up 31 in the second quarter, and they showed up in the second half, and it was 45-3. A typical Georgia game, and this is perfect for the new quarterback, getting them used to it and getting reps against Ball State. So perfect. So he'll be ready for the big boys. But Georgia's Georgia. You bet them under. Michigan, you bet them under. Utah snuck it out. They won. They shouldn't have, but they did get the win. So I was glad for Utah. We'll see when Rising comes back. He's got to be close because they kept thinking he was going to play that first week against Florida. But now they're like, I don't think Utah might play a high school team next week. I don't think I see him in a regular game. So I don't think Rising will play next week either. So now it's given them a whole extra month off. So we'll see. But that's it. So the pros were all set. You got your free picks, 2 locks, and go JETS, Jets. That's just because to me, it's such an obvious play. They're at home and they're the better team and they're getting points. I mean, it's like, it's what you dream of. You're like, okay, sometimes I lock games and I'll tell you, I don't, the wrong team's favored for me to lock it, right? I think that happened yesterday. So, like if Cleveland was favored over Cincy, that would be a lock. I would take Cincy getting 7-8 points. That would be a lock. But Cincinnati's favored, but I'm not going to touch Cleveland with the points. So it's not a play. I'm still going with Cincinnati. If Pitt was a 3-point favorite over the Niners, that would be a lock. That's what I mean by it. If New England was favored over Philly, that would be a lock, obviously. So in college, you want to get the right, like LSU was favored over Florida State. I kept begging you to take Florida State. So that's what we look at. So when we see like New Mexico State, we want New Mexico favored. We want New Mexico State as the dog. Then it's a strong play. But if New Mexico State's the favorite, I'm not playing them as the favorite. No, I don't see where that's going to come up in too many of these games. Maybe Army, UTSA, we can get Army as the dog. I think the way they looked, I think they figured out their offense. Anytime you got a new coordinator, you got to realize it's going to take 5-6 games to get up to speed on it. This is the problem with college football. There's so much change, right? They go to a new coach and then these transfers with the new quarterbacks. And then you bring in every year a new offensive coordinator. What was Miami doing with the guy from Michigan who sucked? And they fucked up Van Dyke, and now he's got a better coordinator, and all of a sudden he's back to lighting it up. So that's really what you have is you've got to look for more consistency, but they're so busy changing in and out. You lose chemistry, you lose continuity. It's very difficult. Anyway, so what else can we talk about there? So we'll get more into college tomorrow. We'll look at what happened yesterday more, and we'll look at next week's. I'll create my own lines. But I want to see the stats because I don't know if the teams are over or under teams right now. or A's or Z's. All my Old Dominion I thought sucked does not suck, and Florida International I thought sucked does not. This is why we watch those type of teams the first 2 or 3 weeks, because you can't just assume they're the same as last year. You look at UMass, Florida Internet. These are Z teams that are playing better. So we've got to be careful with those. We've got to sit there like, no, these are these aren't the same teams. And with all the transfer portal, now I don't know why kids from Clemson are going to UMass. How much money are they paying the guy to go there, and why? I don't understand. Hi, G. Do you like Titans or Cleveland as the dog? Those are the games you're coming up with, G? Oh, my God. I do not like Cleveland as the dog. I will not bet against Joe Burrow. The Titans, maybe, but they're at New Orleans, and they got Tannehill. I wouldn't play. I wouldn't really play either of them. I don't have either of them bet. It's a lot. I got the 2 unders. I got the Houston under, and I'm betting against the idiots. I'm betting against C.J. Stroud and Richardson and Bryce Young, and then the Washington Arizona. I mean, gee, that's the most obvious game of the day. This is the under in the Washington Arizona game. There's no quarterback on the field. The guys in college are 5 times better. Van Dyke, Rising, and Hartman are better than what Arizona, Washington could put on the field. So I don't know why. It's like I say, buy gold and you want to buy real estate. Okay. Play the Arizona game under. Why are you coming up with, should I take Cleveland or Tennessee as the dog? I don't understand. Okay. I couldn't afford this week. Well, I'm giving you the Houston under and the Arizona under. So that's your play. Play that, bet it hard, and make it easy. I know people want to pick their own games, and I'm not saying not to. But well, I mean, that's why they're the free picks. They're very strong picks. And I know you want to pick on your own. You want to say, I want to take Cleveland as the dog or Tennessee as the dog. And you can play those. My opinion, I don't like them. That's what you asked for. I would play that. So I would play the obvious, not the disobvious. But do what you want. It's your money. I'm only here to advise. So my advice is I wouldn't play either of them. And my advice is to play the free picks and the locks. And you can play a nice 5-team teaser and cap it with the Jets. The Jets are a good dog. There you go. Kent State shocked me. Let's see. What was the Kent State score? Yeah, I know they played a good game. Kent State. Let me find them. Against Arkansas, 28-6. Yeah, that shows you they got a defense. Arkansas's got Jefferson. He threw a pass and a touchdown in the fourth quarter. So you're not sure what happens in these games because the teams go for the fourth down. They miss field goals. I'm sure Arkansas got down there a bunch of times. So you go to the box score and you look at what's happening with the what's happening with the going for it on fourth downs. They get to the 35, they go for it, and fourth down and don't get it. Okay, that shows Kent State's got a decent defense. They're holding them. Maybe Kent State had the ball a lot and then threw turnovers and didn't score, but kept the ball away from Arkansas. So yeah, you really got to see. Yeah, so it's a surprising score. But we don't know Kent State right now. Now we're getting a little better. They might have a great defense. They might have a top 10 defense. We don't know that because they're Kent State. We know Georgia does. We know Florida State does. We know Utah does. Michigan does. Minnesota apparently you can't score a lot on. So we're lining up our under teams and we're lining up our over team, starting with USC. We're trying to figure out UCLA, who did put up a big game against San Diego State, which I was surprised. See, when these teams get scared, they start playing. Now, UCLA switched quarterbacks, and he looked a lot better, but he was a freshman. We see Alabama's quarterback. I think he threw 2 or 3 interceptions. Van Dyke looked good. Hartman, of course, he looked good. See, people aren't getting Notre Dame. They're like 2 or 3 in the country, but they're ranked 12th. They're laying 1 to NC State. You got Hartman. There's no way you're losing with Hartman to NC State. The only team they would lose to is Georgia. And it'd be a good game if Rising played against Utah. And I'm not sure they would lose to it because I think Notre Dame's got the same type of defense as Utah and Georgia has. So I'm laying 1 against North Carolina State. Seriously? That's why that was a lock, because the spread should have been 14, was 7, and I'm laying 1, which is the beauty of the teaser. And off you go. Pros are much more difficult because it's a clusterfuck. I mean, you got new coaches all the time. You got new quarterbacks in and out, all this free agency, the draft. You never would draft a CJ Stroud in the first pick and then start him week 1. You think this guy's ready for week 1? He's not ready for Michigan. You think he's ready for week 1 pro football, never playing? And did he even play in the preseason? And he's ready for football, really, against Baltimore. So we thought Michigan's defense was tough. What you going to think here? I mean, it's just insane. I mean, and they're only getting 9 points. How are they going to score? And that Arizona-Washington game just keeps staring at me, and I got 13-3, and I don't even know if that's generous, I think. How are they going to score in that game? And you got to realize it's professional football. The defensive players are all pros, right? These are good college guys, and they got promoted to pros. So they're good. But if you don't have a good quarterback, it's really very difficult. And that's kind of where I run to, is saying, look, without a quarterback, why do I like the Jets? Because they got Aaron Rodgers. If they still had the other guy, I wouldn't never touch him. But they got Aaron Rodgers. But you can't look at the trend, how Buffalo plays the Jets, because they never played with Aaron Rodgers before. And he played Buffalo last year, and Buffalo beat him by like 10. But he found weak spots, and it was like 34-24. So he's seen him last year. He knows what to expect, what to do with him. Only now he's got a defense, and there's no Von Miller. So you got to look at the whole thing. So pro football is extremely there's not a lot of trends to look at, right? You can't even look at maybe Pitt 7-0 is home dog. Okay. Play against Chicago 15-2. Maybe we can use that, but now we got Jordan Love. So what do you do with him? You don't even know if he knows what he's doing. He sucked at Utah State his senior year. He was good his junior year. He lit it up with one offense. Then he played a different offense with a different coach, and he looked like a high school kid. You make him a number 1 draft pick? Really? You couldn't find anybody better than this kid. Oh, okay. So, I don't know. Let's go back a few years. They drafted Baker Mayfield, who now apparently sucks. Josh Rosen, who apparently sucks. Josh Allen, who's not very good. 1, 2, 3, 4, they drafted quarterbacks. How did that happen? How did that work out? Sam Darnold, he's a backup somewhere. Josh Rosen's out of the league. Josh Allen, he's a bum. And then you got Baker Mayfield, who is now trying to make it at Tampa. How did that work out? See, you can't do that. You don't draft a guy and then just throw him out there. It doesn't work. It never has. It never will. They've got to get comfortable. It's like starting a new job or dating a new girl. You've got to get the comfort level. You've got to get the trust level, the chemistry level, all that. Do they have chemistry on your team? You bring in CJ Stroud. Does he have chemistry with the rest of the Houston guys? I bet you David Mills is pissed off going, fuck, I did all this work. And the receivers that he throw to are pissed off because Stroud can't read a defense. So you got all that. That's your problem. So anyway, but you got to be smart enough to take advantage of it. And that's why I'm here. Just like we did with the Iowa State lock under and the Georgia under. There's no difference here. These are not explosive teams, and I looked at next week's games just because I wanted to see who Kansas City's playing. Kansas City's playing Jacksonville. I'm hoping the spread's like two or three. I think it is. I think it's 3. And then we've got the game of the year. We've got Indy playing Houston. What kind of game? Indy playing Houston will be 0-0 in overtime. Where are you going to get a touchdown in the game? I mean, that could be, give me a 40-point under. It's a lock already. Who's Carolina play next week? I mean, this is just beautiful. Carolina's at home to New Orleans. Probably another under game. So you can't get fooled into think CJ Stroud did well at Ohio State, so he's going to do well here. When Fields did better at Ohio State and sucks, and all the Ohio State quarterbacks suck, and all the Alabama quarterbacks suck, why do you think it's a system? Why do you think be good? Why do you assume it? Now, if they prove and they're good, okay, fine. Who's the Are all the Cal quarterbacks good or bad? No. But you got, okay, Aaron Rodgers is good. Brady went to Michigan. Yeah, Michigan had a lot of good quarterbacks. You didn't expect this. He shouldn't have been drafted. He didn't show anything at Michigan. Believe me, I watched Michigan when he was there. Drew Henson was the guy. He couldn't beat Drew Henson out. What would make you think he'd beat the superstar? Montana, I did like at Notre Dame. Now I'm dead sure on Rising, Van Dyke, Hartman, and I see I'm frozen. Come on, there we go. I do. Penix is okay. Again, running a Washington offense. Bo Nix, I'm sure he'll be good. And Jefferson at Arkansas. And I thought the UTSA, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's very good, Frank Harris. And the Tulane quarterback, don't know. The Ole Miss quarterback, I don't know. But that's what we got. McCall at Coastal Carolina should be good. Rising, of course. So these, you can see, are going to be good now. I still wouldn't draft them 1, 2, and 3 and play them in the first game. They're going to sit probably the whole first year like Mahomes did. So Mahomes sits the whole first year, and now he's the best player in the league. These other guys, they throw them in right away on bad teams, and then they last for 2 or 3 years. Fields, and they suck. Trevor Lawrence, Tuava. I mean, these guys are terrible, and you don't play them right away. I don't get the thought that they can just walk in. So it's like me starting at Harley, and I'm going to understand everything Harley has day one. No, give me some months to get accustomed to it. Then I can do that. So that's the whole key to it. So anyway, you can see it's almost 1. So you got your pro picks, you got your college, the 3 locks from yesterday, and great day. And we'll see. We need the locks and the free picks to come in. We'll have a huge weekend. I'm hoping, and then we'll start looking. So now that I'm back to being retired, so I'll be my normal, I don't know, probably 12, 1 o'clock time. Now I'm going to update my college stats, and tomorrow I'll update the pro stats. That way I can figure out the teams. So what's UTS? They got a problem this year. So I got to get off of them because I'm on them from last year. Get off of UTSA, get off of South Alabama, and see who the new, maybe it's Georgia Southern and UAB I want to be on. They always change, and that's what I do so well is catch that. So I'm not married to UTSA this year because of last year. I'll play them, and then I see something's wrong. Like I played them over with Houston, and I see something's wrong. So then I got to get off of them and find the UTSA this year, the good quarterback with the good defense. And now, not that UTSA can't be good this year, but we will see. So with that said, I got studying to do there. I didn't go to the Gold Store. I'll go to there probably Tuesday. Jenna's feeling better, so I'm happy. We're probably gonna go to either Greece or Italy. She wants to go to. I think Greece. I haven't been there. And say hi to Zeus. See what he's up to, and maybe get a lightning bolt or something. And I think that'll be in October. And I asked Daria when she wants to meet in Turkey. The problem is the daughter goes to school, so we got to find a time. The daughter's not in school, and when she can get off work, and so I don't know. It's a little complex. It'd be better if I could just fly to her in Russia. But again, I can't because I can't get into Russia because of this stupid make-believe war we're having with the U.S. versus Russia, and Russia's killing them. Anyway, so that's about it. Buy your gold. Buy your silver. It's cheap. It's about to go. We heard from Andrew McGuire. I will look for any alligator or econ videos today. And see, I'll spend today looking at the highlights of yesterday. A little 15, 20 minute just to get the idea. And I'll check scores on the NFL. Right now I'm going to go to the pool and do that. But yeah, I mean, guys, make your own picks. If you ask for my opinion, I'm giving you my opinion first. I said what? Cincinnati 27-24. So if you want to take Cleveland in 7, go ahead. I prefer to take Joe Burrow. I bet players, but bet Cleveland, and if they win, fine. But if you're asking my advice, I've given it, and that's what I do. And I'm giving you Baltimore 20-0 over Houston. It's pretty clear. That's what I'm giving you. I'm giving you them free, Houston under. So I'm not quite sure some of the questions that you're asking when I'm telling you what's going on. Anyway, time to study next week's college and get college up to date. All right, anything else? It's 1 o'clock. Everybody's watching games. All right. Have a great day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Take care. Good luck today. Hope you win.